Hi, I am making this video in hopes to get help for my granddaughter Lena. My granddaughter Lena was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis at the age of 7. She is now 10. Last year, Lena had her first major flare-up in June of last year. My daughter called me because of the COVID outbreak and she had just had her second child. She could not take the baby into the hospital with her and stay with Lena. Lena developed this flare-up while under the care of the gastrologist team of UK in Lexington, Kentucky. I flew to Kentucky to be with Lena, which I thought was just going to be probably a week's stay. Little did I know I would find out the reality of what ulcerative colitis can do to someone. It can drastically make a person lose weight. It causes anxiety. When I got in that room with my granddaughter, I could not believe what I had saw because of this disease. But I knew we could get her better. At least that's what I hoped and thought. But as the days went by, I watched a team, a gastrologist, come in, and I watched them stand at the foot of Lena's bed and constantly repeat how they were going to remove a 10-year-old's colon. And with ulcerative colitis, stress is a big factor of this. And I would watch the horror of Lena as they left the room. So I felt they did this as a tactic to keep her stressed. I also realized in time that the hospital was not equipped with the menu for a person with ulcerative colitis. So the food they were giving to her was too harsh for her colon. Because I reached out to other people outside of this hospital that I know personally for some insight of this disease. And they told me that the food that they were giving her was the wrong type of food. So finally, my daughter convinced them to allow her to bring in food to Lena. But Lena probably had been eating that food. It had been probably for about a week or so. I felt the quality of care that my granddaughter was getting was very poor. But we prayed and we hoped that she would get better. And at some point, Lena said to me, she calls me Umi. She said, Umi, it seems no matter what I do, because they were giving us instructions of goals for her to meet. And she was meeting some of those goals. But no matter what goal she met, they would always talk about removing her colon. So that was on the front of their mind, and Lena knew that. And Lena said, Umi, I don't think they want me to get better. I think they just want my colon. Well, I told her that's not going to happen. I continued to pray. My daughter did her research. My daughter challenged them every minute with every decision as far as medicine they were trying to give her. Some medicines my daughter would do the research was not conducive for a person with ulcerative colitis and Lena, and it was not working for her. Finally, we asked to be transferred to a hospital in Atlanta, hoping that we could get better care because we felt, and I hate to say it, we just felt because of our beliefs and of our skin tone, we were being treated differently. We continued. And finally, they blocked the transfer for us to get to Atlanta. I felt within those last 2 weeks of in that hospital that we were being held hostage. Finally, someone I know personally who was in the medical field told me we could sign an AMA to get out. And that's what we requested. And they still did not want to give that to us. Finally, when they were having a conference call with my daughter in those last days, well, that was the last day, I watched a team of doctors bully my daughter, threaten my daughter, a woman who was trying to do everything in her power to get her daughter better. They were trying to tear her down. And as a mother, at this point, I had to step in. I removed myself from that room and I called my husband and told him what was going on. He told me to go back in the room and tell those doctors, enough. We have had enough. They will not talk to our daughter like this, nor will they treat our granddaughter in this manner. And if they did not release Lena, they would have to deal with the wrath of my husband. And upon that, I walked back into the room, and in minutes, some of those doctors followed me and started apologizing. And that is when I told them, I have never, in my 56 years, no, I think it was 57, whatever, doesn't matter, of years, I've never seen people being treated like this, who have come for help. I told them I felt like I'd been hostage in this room for the last week and a half or two. And when I used that word, that is when things got into action. That is when they rushed to go get paperwork to release us. They released me and Lena in the middle of the night. We are not a family of means, so we had to get Lena to Atlanta. We got Lena to Atlanta, and we still had some resistance from one of the first doctors my daughter encountered here. But then she met with another doctor who started listening to her and could see her passion for trying to get her daughter well. We got Lena well enough to leave. And she went back to Kentucky. And I know the fear that I have for Kentucky, that Lena probably shares that same fear. And I knew my granddaughter did not want to go back because of COVID-19 and how things are right now. They had to go back because that's where they live and that's where her stepfather has a job. So they went back with the conditions that Lena would go to a hospital in Cincinnati that we knew was linked to Kentucky hospital. But we felt maybe, just maybe, she'll be all right. But soon, my daughter started getting the same treatment of them just wanting to remove Lena's colon. Not trying to help her get better. A 10-year-old with her first major flare-up, but to remove her colon. So finally, my daughter started doing more research and felt that she got better insurance for Lena, that she could get a better doctor. And she did. She found a doctor who was willing to work with her here again back in Atlanta. But my daughter and them were willing to make the sacrifice to travel Lena to the appointments. Lena's first appointment with this doctor was in February. Lena went to the doctor, her and her dad, and they came to my house afterwards. And Lena was so happy. She said, Mommy, I'm going to get healed. She felt this. She felt the positive energy. She felt that they wanted to make her better. But Lena, because of COVID-19 and she has been in the house for so long, they thought maybe for the lack of stress so she wouldn't feel so stressed, to help her in her recovery, to allow her to go to school. But while in school, Lena didn't eat as well. And this, with colitis, you have to eat right. And anybody with any type of disease, and when it comes to your diet, you know the challenge people face, let alone a 10-year-old. So she had a lapse. She had a lapse from February before her next appointment in April, which brings us up to date. She came for her appointment, but the doctor told my daughter she has to go to the hospital. She was not in good condition. Her hemoglobin was low. My daughter took her to the hospital, and now we're up to date. And this is where we need help. The hospital wants to remove my granddaughter's colon. They have threatened my daughter with Child Protective Service. My daughter, and her partner have been doing everything possible for the well-being of Lena, even traveling from Kentucky to Atlanta. And how do you get neglect or uncaring from that? It was just a lapse of time. We had no idea Lena would have another flare-up. So now we're faced again with doctors who want to remove my daughter's colon. And the reason why I am making this video today is because yesterday at the hospital, one of the doctors told my daughter, "I own Lena. You don't own Lena. I own Lena, and I will do whatever I want with Lena." And as a grandmother, a Black woman who wants to hear those words about their grandchild, that someone think they can own her. This is, oh my God. I don't even believe that we are having to deal with this. So I am making this video in hopes that someone out there, we are searching for a lawyer. We are searching for anyone to give us the advice to help us through this situation. They are talking about removing Lena's colon Thursday. They have not provided not one document from a court. They are threatening my daughter. They are bullying my daughter with Child Protective Services. They are doing everything instead of helping Lena. They even held her in the ICU unit until my daughter talked to Protective Services. She had already talked to one of them, and the lady had come to the agreement that my daughter had did nothing wrong. But yet we learned that the doctor that my daughter has chosen to help Lena used to be part of this hospital. So this is where the brick hits the road. It is the politics of it. They even told my daughter they didn't like the doctor she had, which is none of their business and is none of their concern. But now we're caught in between. Not us. Lena, a 10-year-old. A 10-year-old little girl who only wants to get better, is caught in between the politics of a hospital old employee who has went on to her own practice. And they're going to make Lena an example. We need help. This is beyond us. We are praying that somebody out here can help us. Please share this video. We need help. We are looking for anyone in Georgia to help us. Thank you for taking the time and listen to this video, and please share. We are against time. We need help. Thank you.